people who are living contrary to the gospel will always try to latch onto and find any small imperfections and blow them way out of proportion, you know, in order to cover up the truth of their own, you know, serious lifestyle choices that are contrary to what Jesus, you know, requires and demands. So that was the second obstacle that I had to face, and that, you know, led me through a process of having to just, you know, plead and pray for the intercession of St. Michael the Archangel to help me to avoid any temptations or uncharitable thoughts associated with that attack, you know, from him who I've given, you know, so much to joyfully and, you know, willingly, that, you know, it's an insult to hear somebody, you know, who doesn't even recognize how much good a person's done for them in their life, you know, just to insult them over something that's totally insignificant and has no actual bearing on the truth. So that's the second thing. And so after that was kind of resolved, then what happened next? Geez, I can't even remember. I think it was probably something that I got involved with. I was distracted. You know, I was trying to upload this video onto YouTube. What else did I do? I sat in the chair and prayed for a little while, which is not a bad thing, not a distraction, but it wasn't the primary thing God was calling me to, which was to make this video. And so, like, oh, that's right, thank you. Then I got an email from a person who is, you know, so-called Christian leader in one of the parishes here in Brevard County, and I've known this person for a couple of years now, and you know, throughout the entire time we've been in a relationship, there's always been something that I've discerned as not quite right with the, you know, his spiritual well-being, let's put it that way. And as time has gone by and I've continued to pray for him, it's become more and more, you know, clear. The Lord has revealed to me what the issue is. But before I talk about that, what I'd like to say is that, you know, for a time in the past 3 years since I came back from Korea in 2008, there was a period of about, let's see, I'd say from maybe May or June of 2009 until I guess probably until like July of this year, so that's 2011, that's almost 2 years, holy cow, sorry Lord, where I was living in you know, various level of serious sin in my life, you know, and avoiding this calling that I have in my life to you know, contribute, to be a part of the servant leadership of Brevard County and the building up the Christian community here. And so you know, one of the, I mean, I can try to characterize it in like a romantic notion that, you know, like Jonah, who had this calling to be, you know, prophetic voice to Nineveh, which was a difficult task because, you know, he wasn't sure if he was going to get killed for this, or you know, he would definitely receive persecution for doing it. You know, in the same way, I experienced the serious, you know, turning away from God in my own life as something that is actually an affirmation of the reality of the call, you know, because why would I run away from a calling that wasn't, you know, truly real and serious? You know, that would be ridiculous. There would be no reason for me to do that. So in a convoluted way, the way the human mind to, you know, gives into sin comes to think about it, it's like we put God to the test, you know. God, you know, we have to continually be attentive to the fact that, you know, like one of the temptations that the devil threw out to Jesus in the desert before his public ministry was the temptation to put God to the test. He brought Jesus to, you know, the parapet above the temple and said, you know, throw yourself down because God has promised that he will protect you with his angels, you know, that not a hair on your head will go untouched. And Jesus, you know, Jesus's response to the scripture scholar Satan was, you know, the scripture also says, do not put the Lord your God to the test. And this is what, you know, sometimes people do, because in their pride and their fear, you know, of doing the hard thing that they know God's calling them to. They want to, you know, get some confirmation and certainty that this is an actual calling, you know, before they step out in faith and risk, you know, their personal like reputation, you know, and Jesus says clearly, yeah, you know, beware of the false prophets, for they, you know, have been accepted by the people. You know, they gain popularity. Like, so being popular and well accepted by the you know, so-called religious leaders and, you know, the Christian community who are, you know, living a duplicitous lifestyle is not something that a true prophet wants to, you know, wants to hear and accept. He will receive confirmation from the rejection that he's receiving as he draws closer to the Lord. And so the reason I mention this is because in my relationship with this individual, who is actually the chairman of the parish council for one of the largest parishes here in the county, is you know, he's working full-time at a company, you know, fixing elevators over in Orlando. And you know, he felt compelled to take this job because it provides a standard of living which he feels is, you know, commensurate with, you know, his years of experience. And, you know, there's a sense of entitlement, and while that may not objectively be seriously sinful, if that is interfering with these, you know, serious and major responsibilities that he has as a Christian leader in the community, which it is, and he's unwilling to acknowledge and accept that it's interfering with, you know, his capacity to be able to be the type of leader that Jesus wants for a Christian community, then he needs to make a choice between, you know, either choose to live in poverty by finding a job closer, which will require him to, you know, change his standard of living, and so he can fulfill what he has acknowledged to be what he feels his primary calling is to be involved with parish ministry. And he's even, you know, shared that he experiences a calling to, you know, help found some kind of lay apostolate. Well, my friend, if you feel like the Lord's calling you to that, then you shouldn't be, you know, making any delay, especially over something so trivial as, you know, as a secular job. You know, yes, you can serve the Lord through your work, but if you feel him calling you to something serious like a lay apostolate, and your only reason for putting it off is because, you know, I feel like I have to work at this particular job to maintain a certain standard of living, then, you know, I think any reasonable person would agree that there's faulty logic going on there, and God never, you know, asks us to do something that contradicts reason, you know, and you can abuse and misuse your interpretation of, you know, faith and you know, God calling me to this and that, but if it doesn't, you know, isn't in conformity with reason, then it's not in conformity with God's will. I mean, you know, faith